Now, France is divided into 18 administrative regions. There are 13 located in Metropolitan France in Europe, while there are 5 overseas regions. Some of these overseas regions are in Africa, in South America, in the Caribbean, but more of that later in this video. You should know that in 2014, the French Parliament passed a law reducing the number of regions from 22 before 2016. Now, what are the regions? Now, the first region is Auvergne-Rhone-Alpes, which was formed from 2 regions, Auvergne and Rhone-Alpes. So they came together to form Auvergne-Rhone-Alpes. It has its capital city in Lyon, and it has about 8 million inhabitants. It's the second most populated region in France. It has 12 departments, and some of the other main cities are Grenoble, Clermont-Ferrand, and others. Now, this region borders Switzerland and Italy, and some of the famous mountains in Auvergne-Rhone-Alpes are the Mont Blanc and the Volcan d'Auvergne. The second region is Bourgogne-Franche-Comte. Now, as you must have guessed, it's formed from the 2 regions that existed before 2016, Bourgogne and Franche-Comte. They came together to form Bourgogne-Franche-Comte, and it's just north of Auvergne-Rhone-Alpes. It has 8 departments and 2.8 million inhabitants. The capital city of Bourgogne-Franche-Comte is Dijon, and another major city in this region is Besançon. This region shares a border with Switzerland, and this region is actually home to Peugeot, which is one of the 3 biggest automobiles in France. It's popular for its vin de Bourgogne, Moutarde de Dijon. Now, the next region is Bretagne. Now, Bretagne is a region with just 4 departments and about 3.3 million inhabitants. It is far west towards the Atlantic Ocean, and its capital city is Rennes. Some other cities are Brest, Lorient, and Vannes. It's actually known for its delicious crepes. The next one is Centre-Val de Loire, which is located, as the name suggested, centre, the center. It's located in the center of Metropolitan France. It has about 6 departments and 2.5 million people who live in the region. Its capital is Orléans, and another main city is popular for its several castles. I think it's said that there are about 2,000 castles in the region. It's such an historical site, I must say. And then we have Corsica, which is La Corse. This is a territorial collectivity. This is a subdivision of France with recognized governing authority. This is the smallest region in France with a little less than 350,000 inhabitants. Now, you should know that Corsica, La Corse, is an island. But it's part of the Metropolitan France. It's the 4th biggest island in the Mediterranean Sea, and its capital is Ajaccio. Now, arguably the most famous leader in French history, Napoleon Bonaparte, was actually born on this island, La Corse. Then we have the Grand Est. Just like the name suggested, Grand Est is east of Metropolitan France. Now, the 3 main regions that were brought together to form the Grand Est were Alsace, Champagne-Ardenne, and Lorraine. So these 3 regions were brought together to form Le Grand Est, and it has 8 departments with about 5.5 million people. Now, as its name implies, it's far east of Metropolitan France, and it's at the heart of Europe because it borders Belgium, Luxembourg, and Germany. Its capital is Strasbourg, and some other main cities are Reims, Metz, Mulhouse, and Nancy. Now, the Verdun Memorial is found in this region. This is a war memorial to commemorate the Battle of Verdun, fought in 1916 as part of the First World War. I think perhaps this was why Strasbourg was selected as the headquarters of the European Parliament. The next region is Hauts-de-France. Hauts-de-France, so O in French means I. So you must have guessed north. It's located north of Metropolitan France. Now, the 2 regions that were brought together to form Hauts-de-France are Nord-Pas-de-Calais and Picardy. Nord-Pas-de-Calais and Picardy. Now, this region has 5 departments and about 6 million people. Its capital is Lille, and other main cities in these regions are Amiens, Valenciennes, Lens, Béthune, and so on. You should know that this region borders Belgium. It borders the English Channel called La Manche in French, and of course the Northern Sea. Now, thanks to the TGV, the high-speed train called Eurotunnel, which connects England and France just under the Northern Sea. Now, Lille is actually connected to a lot of big cities in Europe. It's few minutes to Brussels, less than 2 hours to Paris, 2 hours to London, 2 hours to Amsterdam. And the next region, which is perhaps the most popular region, is Ile-de-France. Now, Ile-de-France, even though Ile-de-France means the French island, is actually not an island. It is the most populous region in France with about 12 million inhabitants, and it has 8 departments. Now, its capital is, of course, Paris, and some of the monuments found in this region, as you may know, are the Eiffel Tower, the Louvre Museum, the Château de Versailles, and several others. Now, you should know that Paris is the economic and cultural capital of France. Now, the next region is Normandy. Normandy is actually a region created out of 2 regions, the Basse Normandy and the Haute Normandy. That's the lower and the upper Normandy. So these 2 regions were brought together to form Normandy. It has about 5 departments and 3.3 million inhabitants. It is northwest of Metropolitan France, just by the English Channel. Its capital is Rouen. Other cities are Caen, Le Havre. It is interesting to know that Le Havre is also very important because it's one of the 2 principal ports in France. We have Marseille, which is a principal port in France, and now we have Le Havre. Now, this region is home to Renault, which is one of the biggest automobiles in France. The next region is Nouvelle-Aquitaine. Now, Nouvelle-Aquitaine is the biggest region in France. In fact, it is bigger than some European countries, with a population of about 6 million people and 12 departments. 3 regions were brought together to form the Nouvelle-Aquitaine. We have the Limousin, we have Aquitaine, and we have the Poitou-Charentes. Now, it's located southwest of France, and its capital is Bordeaux. Other cities, main cities in the region, include Limoges, Pau, and La Rochelle. It borders the Atlantic Ocean and Spain. Now, Occitanie is the next region with about 13 departments, about 5.8 million inhabitants. It is located in the south of France, and its capital is Toulouse. Now, Toulouse is the 4th largest city in France, just after Paris, Marseille, and Lyon. Now, other cities in this region include Montpellier, Nîmes, Perpignan, and so on. This region borders Spain and Andorra, and it has a coastline on the Mediterranean Sea. It's interesting to know that Toulouse is the center of the European aerospace industry, and it's also the headquarters of Airbus, the Airbus. This region is also home to the tallest bridge in the world. Yes, the tallest bridge in the world is found in the Occitanie region of France, and it is the Viaduc de Millau. It also has the highest road of any bridge in the entire world. The next region is Pays de la Loire, and it has 5 departments and 3.8 million inhabitants. It's located in the west of France, just on the coastline of the Atlantic Ocean. Its capital is Nantes, which is the biggest city in the region. Now, other cities in the region are Le Mans. And the last region is called Région Sud, also known as Provence-Alpes-Cote d'Azur. Just by looking at its name, you must have guessed that 3 regions were brought together. That's Provence, Alpes, and Côte d'Azur to form the Région Sud. It has 6 departments and about 5 million inhabitants. Its capital is Marseille, but some other big cities in the region are Toulon, Nice, and so on. It shares a border with Italy, and it just surrounds the Principality of Monaco. Now, it's the second most touristic region in France, of course, after Paris. And you should know that tourists visit this region to enjoy the beautiful climate of the Côte d'Azur and to just see the adorable view of the Champ de Lavande. If you have heard of the film festival of Cannes, the Festival de Cannes is actually, it takes place every year in this region. It takes place at Côte d'Azur. Now let's talk about the overseas region, the Région d'Outre-mer in French. Now, this is a recent designation given to the overseas departments that have similar powers to those of the regions of Metropolitan France. This means that even though these regions are not located in Metropolitan France, they have representatives in the National Assembly in France. They even elect members of the European Parliament in the Senate, and they even use the euro as their currency. Now, what are these 5 regions? First, in the Indian Ocean, we have La Mayotte, which capital is in Mamoudzou. We also have La Réunion. La Réunion's capital is Saint-Denis. Now, these 2 regions are found in Africa, in the Indian Ocean. It's good to know that they're actually islands in the Indian Ocean in Africa. In the Americas, we have French Guiana, which is located in South America, and the capital city is Cayenne. We also have Guadeloupe, which is found in the Caribbean, aux Antilles, and the capital is Basse-Terre. And the last one is Martinique, which is also found in the Caribbean, aux Antilles in French, and its capital is Fort-de-France. And there you have it, the 18 regions in France, 13 regions in Metropolitan France in Europe, and 5 regions called the overseas regions in the Indian Ocean and in the Caribbean. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know if you would like me to speak extensively on the overseas department I just spoke about. Merci et à très bientôt.